first knew about this course through Meetup, which is a social network, and it was flagged up as an emotional intelligence group, and I was interested in that, so I wanted to come along.
I heard about it through the Liverpool Business Forum, and the chakras interested me because I'm interested in health and well-being. So I have heard of them before, but I just wanted to understand a little bit more about them and how it relates the mind as well as the body. So that was, what was interesting about coming and finding out more about the course. Last week, finding out about the affirmations and working on those as well.
I was interested in chakras before I came onto the course, and what I found interesting about it was that it linked with emotional intelligence, so it sat within the emotional intelligence heading, and that really intrigued me because that is something I've been interested in for quite a long time and made that connection myself, but I've never seen it out there, I suppose. So for me, I was really intrigued about that aspect of it.
I've heard about chakras before the course because I was just reading about some books about, Hinduism, and I felt, a little bit interested in the chakras subject. So when I started to work at Hola People, and Esteban told me that they were just, approaching to this theme, so I felt interested in participate.
I was interested about the course because I was doing yoga, and my teacher, she told me that it's good if I found the root of that from how to use and work with my chakras as well, and I find out about Meetup and from my yoga studio.
Well, before just the 7 different chakras and where they're situated in the body. Other than that, I didn't really understand much more about the chakras. So last week was a really good insight to the start with the root chakra and understanding colours that relate to them and musical notes, because I didn't realise that either.
My level of knowledge around the chakras before I started the course was that probably 30 years ago I'd been exploring healing, so the chakras were part of that, but they weren't, I didn't explore it in such depth. Now I was interested that you go it week by week and do each chakra and really explore it, and that intrigued me, because I do feel on a personal level that some healers perhaps don't work with their own chakras when they're giving healing, and I know quite a few healers have got sick themselves through, for me, not focusing on what I believe that you need to focus on. The whole thing has to work like a well-oiled machine, I suppose. So that intrigued me, that you go through it the way you're doing it. That approach is you're going through it in a very linear way, really, which is necessary to sort of clear out the blocks, I suppose. But also what I am finding is, clearing out the blocks, you have to go back to go forwards constantly. There's this constant relationship between all the levels. And I'm at the level 2 on a deep level at the moment.
I think learning more about the chakras will help me, because just the confidence, understanding the mind and how it works, being positive and doing the affirmations and just getting into a routine of doing those sorts of things, meditation, making it part of your everyday life, so you're not just doing the usual things that people do and thinking about maybe changing diet and stuff like that, but adding the mind and the whole well-being into it will make a big difference.
I think it can help me massively to make it better, because for me this is the part that brings it all together, the mind, body, spirit. And a lot of psychological approaches miss this out, so people can be in counselling, for example, for years, and it's like, well, you're just working on the mind. Unless you have the spiritual element, I don't feel you can make that accelerated progress, and that's from personal experience. I just before Christmas, I was in some therapy for something quite personal, and she couldn't believe how quickly I'd gone through that whole process, because I was linking it with the whole spiritual side of who I was. You can't separate the two things out, it's a whole thing.
The more that you learn about yourself, the best you can solve many things in your life.
I believe in it all. I am a big believer in holistic medicine and therapies to help people. I think, having worked in the past in traditional medicine fields, I think there's a place for them where emergencies come in, but from other things that I've read and studied as well, I think we can self-heal a lot by changing what we're doing, mind and body.
I think that we have an inner energy that influence all aspects in our lives, and that our body and our mind and our energy are connected. So I have a strong belief in chakras.
I have some related knowledge of Reiki and mindfulness and meditation, but limited, and that's why I think it's interesting to do these courses and to find out more. So I've recently got a friend who started working in Reiki, so she's told me a little bit more about that and about crystal healing and angel healing. So I have a general interest in anything holistic, really. I think it can help in relationships, because I think it can help me to be more open-minded, more patient, and just positive in general, being more positive in general about things, and definitely patience.
I think this can help me in my relationships, because if I know about how I'm operating within clearing my chakras, then I can enable other people by my knowledge, or with my knowledge, to heal themselves as well. Just obviously not be really religious about that, because people get a little bit, it's like spiritual, and there's not everybody's waking up, not everybody is.
I think that knowing about chakras allows me to know myself and the way of the emotions comes, and when the moment that I am going to be in a bad energy moment, so I can stop there and I can improve my relations with other people.
Again, I think it can help with the emotional state, because you're taking that time for yourself to just sit aside, meditate, breathe, be positive, again with the affirmations. And I think the more you do it and the more you practice all of that, the more you're going to feel the benefit from it.
I think this can definitely help me, because even though I've only been once, and now we're on the sacral chakra this week, I think it can massively help me to stay balanced.
I think it's going to help me to be happier, because it's very difficult for me to live, to adapt the type of living in another country outside of my home. So I think it's going to help me to be happier.
And developing inner peace and compassion, spiritual life, pretty much the same way as everything, just repetition of the chakras, the understanding of not just the chakras, but everything in general, really. As I say, I'm a big believer in holistic therapies, so I think, understanding each and every one of them, there's probably a place to play with that. With my career, I think it will help me to be more positive. With what I do, we obviously get a lot of no's, and I think learning to realise that no isn't a personal no, it's just the time's not right for that person. So I think that's one of the hardest things to learn with what I do. So understanding that more, it will help with that, and just knowing to talk to more people in that sense. So I think again the positivity side of it will help.
That's an interesting one. Helping me in my career, I think just to identify where other people are at in terms of managers, for example, that I'm working with, students that I'm working with, because I work with students who are traumatised a lot of the time, quite disadvantaged, high energy levels and in negative sense, so their vibration is quite low down. So just for me to recognise what those behaviours are and link it, for example, the base chakra, the root chakra, a lot of our students come in, there's a lot of fear involved in how they interact. So that's going to be great for me to explore that deeper. And actually, the students I work with are waking up. Contrary to popular belief, students with ADHD, that's part of why they've got the ADHD, because they're like sponges and they're just taking on all this negativity. That's why we have, in my opinion, so many of them in PRUs, because they can see the world for what it really is, and they're flooded with all this information. So chakra-wise, I do talk in terms of spiritual terms, and they get it. They just get it. They're much more open and receptive to spiritual speak, if you like.
I do have a vision for my life, and again I think this can help by being positive, so concentrating on doing the affirmations, being positive, keeping away from negative people as much as you can. Not always possible, but as much as you can, and just striving and moving forward day by day.
I do have a vision for my life. Hopefully, as I go up the scale, if you like, and self-actualize, which is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, in the same way with my chakras, then I will be more fulfilled. But actually what I'm trying to focus on is being fulfilled in the here and now. What is fulfilling is learning. That's very fulfilling. When you go, bingo, there's a moment of connection. So just being on this spiritual path and understanding about how the chakras work, as an example, and how that links with psychological aspects of who I am and how others are, that intrigue, that keeps me sort of hungry to live and keep moving forwards, I suppose. That's just that's the way I do life. So it's really fulfilling.
At the moment, I've got some difficulties going on in my life at the moment. So it's not great, which is probably one of the reasons why I chose to do the course, to help me to overcome them and to understand again, in moving forward. I think the expectations from the course are just having a better understanding of the chakras, as we talked about earlier, but also putting it into practice. There's no point coming and doing a course and then going away and not doing anything with it, because nothing will happen. So I think going away and doing the affirmations, doing the mindfulness, doing the meditation, continuing with my yoga and Pilates and Nirvana practices will help as well. So I think it will help a great deal in moving forward.
It's an interesting question. So once I finish this course, what would I get out of it? I don't know till I get there. If I continue like this, then I just feel like I'm opening up. Everything's just opening up because it feels good. Whatever's happening is feeling good. And that's my barometer for I'm in the right place, doing the right thing, learning about what it is I need to learn about.
We haven't quite covered it yet, but from little understanding from last week, I think the throat chakra is probably one of the main ones, possibly the solar plexus as well. But I think the throat chakra is the main one for me to work on. To improve, to make my life better, I think relationships and finances, and that will help to move things along and make things better.
To make my life better, I think that I need to improve the discipline, the confidence, and the well-being aspect. I think that with the course I can work on that aspect and improve my issues with those aspects.
The areas of my life that I'd like to improve and make better are, I think, intimate relationships not relationships, and intimate relationships seems to be the predominant thing. Relationships with others in the workplace and my children, I'm on that, that's good, but I've always had a difficulty with maintaining an intimate relationship that's balanced. I've always attracted in people that are operating on a very low frequency, and that's got to change for me because I'm no longer willing to go down that path. I don't want to suffer anymore, so this is a big deal for me. It's a big thing that I come here and learn about this.